You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers about hikers for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hammock Hangers Podcast. I am your host, Paul Collins, or Skunk Ape. This week I have brought another vendor to the show, Dan McNeill. Dan is the owner of MCN Hammocks out of Illinois. Dan has been camping and spending most of his time in the woods since the 70s. In 1987, he joined the Army and got the chance to travel around the world. Over that span, he has experienced the evolution of the gear that is used outdoors. He has done tent camping, tarp camping, bushcraft, and has had lots of survival training and experiences. With eagerness to learn new things, coupled with injuries making it hard to sleep on the ground, he dove into hammock camping in 2017. Shortly after that, he began making his own gear and getting requests from others to make theirs for them. So in April of 2019, MCN Hammocks was born. Now let's get on with the show so we can hear more from Dan about his experiences and MCN Hammocks. All right, everybody, we are here with the owner of MCN Hammocks, Dan McNeill. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and get started right in with it, Dan. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your background, your camping experience, how you got into hammocks.
Okay. So I started camping. My parents lived out in the country, and there's a lot of woods there, and I had three brothers and everything. So we spent a lot of time out in the woods. And then when we were, aged to join Cub Scouts, 7, 8, something like that, we kind of started learning more and started camping. Around the time I was 8, I did my first solo camp when I was 9 years old. It was out in the front yard, but it was my solo camp at 9. And so I spent the majority of my life, especially from then to 18, out in the woods in some shape or form, camping or hunting or just hiking, just anything out there. And got to see a lot of I started camping back in the 70s, so the gear has really evolved over that time, from back into the canvas tents and all that kind of stuff, and to the more modern lightweight stuff that they have now. I spent time in the Army. I was anywhere from the Middle East to Europe to Central America, just all over the place, and continued camping and got into rock climbing and rappelling pretty heavy, and backpacked and stuff anytime I got a chance, and then just continued my love of the outdoors and watched the gear change. And I got a chance to see not only the gear change over all them years, the last 40 years, but also how different climates affect the gear and what works and what doesn't and everything. And then a few years ago, probably back in 2014, 2015, no, it was probably 2005, I got hurt. I got in a wrestling match with a horse that outweighed me by 1,000 pounds, and I lost that match and messed up my neck. And it quickly started getting to the point where camping on the ground was really uncomfortable. And then a few years later, it got to the point where I was thinking, I'm just not going to be able to do it anymore. And then I found out about hammocks in probably 2017. And before that a little bit, but I've been watching the videos from this guy Trip Smith. He's got a YouTube channel and stuff, and watching him kayak camp and everything. And I was really big into kayaking, and he was always hammock camping. And so I got into the idea that maybe I could camp that way, it would hurt my neck. And then I went to an event of his in 2017, and there were a lot of other hammock campers. So I got to see the gear and try it out and everything. And of course, like anywhere else where there's a group of hangers, they were always really quick and eager to help out, to give any advice. Here, I got some extra gear, try it out. That's pretty much, that was one thing that also turned me on about the hammock world, because it seems like the community's like that no matter where you go. And
Yes, it is.
so I got into hammock camping then. I tried it the first time, and not only could I sleep with my neck problems and stuff like that, but I was sleeping more comfortably than I had many years on the ground. So kind of grew from there. At the same time, a few years before that, I was starting to learn how to sew and starting to make my own gear. And so then I got to thinking, well, I'll try a hammock. And then one thing led to the other. People started asking me to make them. And then the company kind of grew from there. Started,
It just took off from there,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, that worked pretty good.
Gotcha. So how long, you said that it was about 2017 when you first started, the camping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then what, about a year later or so, about 2018 is when you started making them yourself?
Yeah, well, so that was like in October 2017. Started making them that winter, and just trying it out. And then we formed our company officially in April 2019. But
Okay.
one of the things I did is, like, if you look at our website, it says we started it with $100 in the dream. I'm really big
Right.
into not having debt and everything like that. And so many people say, they can't change their life, they can't better their life because they don't have any money. They have some idea to be an entrepreneur or start a business, and they think you got to have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I believe you can start a lemonade stand and then raise the money to buy a bicycle. From the bicycle, start a bicycle route, raise money to buy a car. You just keep going, keep working your way up.
Right.
And that's kind of what we've done with the business and everything. So
Okay.
not
I
only am I
gotcha.
making gear and everything, which is really satisfying to see, there's people actually in other countries and stuff too using our gear, and that's really cool. Anybody using our gear, even if it's here locally, they're out there and enjoying life with something that we built. That's really cool. And then
Right.
in the same process, to try to inspire other people to start do their own thing, start their own business. You don't need money. You just start really, really small and work your way up.
Gotcha. Um, just out of curiosity, before you started making hammocks, on your own,
Yeah.
what was your setup that you started out with?
My first hammock.
Yeah.
So my first hammock was I bought one right after that event at Rocket Dock. I think it was on the way home. My wife and I bought hammocks. She bought her hammock. They were just netless hammocks. She bought her hammock from Arrowhead Equipment, and I bought
Okay.
mine from Hammock Gear. I found out a little bit later, it sounded like that might have been, Hammock Gear was already in business and making stuff, but around October 2017 was around the time they actually started making hammocks.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of get one of their first ones, kind of. You know.
Okay. All right. So you and your wife both actually hammock camp then?
Yeah, my wife's camped all her life too, and then
Okay.
she ended up having 6 back surgeries. So right around the time I injured my neck, we both kind of got to the point where we couldn't camp anymore. And so we were both pretty hyped up when we found out about hammocks.
Gotcha. So you started the business. What all type of gear do you make? Is it just hammocks, or do you make tarps and all that as well? Or
I was starting to make tarps. I got delayed. I was
okay.
wanting to start making tarps at the beginning of this year, but I've made probably three winter tarps and 4 hex tarps that I've sold. And uh, one of the things that, as far as making gear, we started out only making custom gear. That's all we were going to make. And because all those years of camping, man, you get a tent and maybe you want a different color or something, or a backpack or piece of clothing or whatever, but you only got that one color option. Or maybe you wish, man, it'd be really nice if it had a pocket here, or if the zipper opened up a
Right.
different way or whatever. But for many years, there was all you could buy was what was on the shelf, and that was it. So I wanted to offer that custom option for somebody that knew what they wanted and had something in their head, and for me to be able to take it and make that. And that really made it hard. That hurt us a lot because for the website to try to set it up where it's just custom stuff, people that are new to
Right.
hammocks, they come there and they don't know much about the gear and different types of fabric and this and that. So they get on the website and look and they're just all confused and they go buy somewhere else. So that has
Right.
hurt us a lot, but I really like making that custom gear. Uh, Taking somebody's dream in their head and make it a reality. That's really cool. Um,
Right.
and we've done our YouTube channel is pretty big. I mean, it's not big. We've only got a couple hundred subscribers, but that's where a lot of people find out about us because I make a lot of gear that I sell that I don't post on there, but a lot of the custom gear, I film it so that the customer that's getting it, they can see it before I ship it out and make sure everything's okay. And
Gotcha.
and then also on Facebook and Instagram, I'm posting pictures while I'm making it, so they could see it being made, and then see the video of the finished product. And then when they say it's okay, then I ship it out to them. But a lot of people have found us through YouTube and seen some of the custom work that we've done, and then decided to order.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's where one of the first places that I saw you was on YouTube
Yeah.
as well, and everything. So when somebody wants a hammock from you, what they do, just call you up or send you an email and basically just tell you the colors and everything that they want with everything.
Yeah, if somebody's got something particular in mind, they know what they want. A lot of them already know what fabric they want, what color, and what features, and all that kind of stuff. And I just write everything down and order the fabric and stuff, and then make it. But a lot of people, like recently, I sent a hot peak hammock out to a woman in Pennsylvania that's really new to hammock camping. So
Okay.
she had asked us a lot of questions, and then we pointed her, of course, to Shug's videos and other people's videos to help her kind of learn, like the different options, like what the hammock ridge line was for. She ordered a neon green tarp too, so the ridge lines of the tarps and all that kind of stuff. We gave her a lot of advice. We sent her to other pointed her towards other people to get learn more from. And in the process of about a week, we were talking back and forth and kind of helping her narrow down what she wanted. And then that happens a lot with the customers. We're available. Of course, they could send us a message on Facebook or a direct message on Instagram, our email, but also calling. I just give out my cell phone number, and the hours on Facebook is like Monday through Friday, but I'm available 7 days a week. So
Gotcha.
um,
That hot pink hammock you were just talking about, you just made that one, didn't you?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I think okay.
yeah, that
I
one,
thought I just saw that video
yeah,
a couple of days ago.
yeah, that one, and she got there's a video of a neon green winter tarp before that. That's her tarp.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I just saw both of those. So, what are some of the links to be able to get in touch with you? I know you said you got a Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So how do people find you on those?
Just search for MCN Hammocks on any of them. That's what we're listed on all the social medias and YouTube also. And then also our website down at the bottom of it's got a contact information, and that's got our phone number, our email, and all that stuff too.
Okay. All right. And then the website is mcnhammocks.com,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Is there anything else that you want to talk to anybody about, or um,
Um,
you got any advice for some of the newer people
uh,
that might be looking for, say certain fabrics or anything like that?
yeah. As far as the fabrics and all that kind of stuff, if you get a hold of us, we can give you all the basic information of the weight rating of the fabric, kind of the pros and cons of like a hex fabric versus a hyper D fabric, and we also will give you every information we can give you. I don't weigh 300 pounds, so I can't tell you what a 300-pound person in that fabric is like, but I can point you to somebody that is, So I try to make sure the person has as much information. If I can't get the information, I'll point them to somebody that could help them out with that, so they could really make a really well-informed decision. And uh, I definitely having a conversation with the person before they order to make sure everything that they get, exactly what they're looking for, and uh, go to group hangs. We have a hard time making them because they're so far away, but get a lot of advice from people there, and you could try different fabrics and try different things to look at different features and really narrow down what you want if you're new to hammocks. And then get for a person getting into hammocks. I was so frustrated in the beginning because I wasn't following the simple rules. Everybody says trees about 12 to 15 feet apart, more or less, and I was thinking, okay, if I got 12-foot straps on this 11-foot hammock, I can stretch it out to 20-foot trees or whatever, and then all the problems that go along with that.
Right.
And then when I finally just stopped fighting it and did what everybody said to do, everything just worked, But I'm kind of hard headed and want to try to figure out my own way, And
I think we all are when we first started.
yeah, and it messes a
I
lot of
know
people.
I was the same way.
It messes a lot of people up, and then they give up and just walk away from it. A lot of them. But everybody gives. You can talk to a lot of different people and get a lot of different advice, and you'll see there's a common
Right.
thread among that. And then just do that. It's that
Right.
that easy.
Yeah. I mean, like you just said, I've seen several people, they want to get into hammocking. They see it and they're intrigued by it. And so, they go out and they, buy something cheap or
Yeah.
whatever, and it don't work.
Right.
And they think that's how,
All
all hammocks are going to be.
Yeah.
And, they, they're stuck with a 9-foot hammock that you can't lay at a good diagonal on, and you're, uncomfortable as anything, and
I did.
so, and then, I mean, I think that's one of the main things that I want, from, these talks and stuff like that. So that way people can, listen to, others like you and everybody else that I have on, to, get better information.
Yeah.
And everything. So
Yeah. I did one night in a 9-foot. The shoulder squeeze was so bad. My shoulder was hurting all day. The next day, my legs were all cramped up all day. Bad experience. But
yeah,
I knew it was going to be the. Right.
yeah, I've been the same way. I think I had a short hammock, stayed in it one night, and that was it. It was just so uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it's at least an 11-foot hammock.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as custom gear, we're starting to make other stuff, starting to make bags and all this kind of stuff. I want to do next year local trail, the river to river trail. It's 160 miles, but I'm waiting because I
Okay.
want every piece of gear that I use to be gear I made. The backpack, sleeping bag, hammock, and tarp, of course. I want it all gear that I made before I do that trip. But so
Gotcha.
we're starting to get into other camping stuff, and I think the most custom thing we've ever done was a guy wanted a hammock and tarp. It was all made out of monolite. I mean, a hammock and bug net, all out of monolite. But he camped with a pigeon, and he wanted a cage built out of fabric and stuff that would hang from his ridgeline, but then it would fold flat and stick in his backpack. And so
You just said a pigeon.
pigeon, yeah.
Okay.
The pigeon had his own.
I thought that's what you said.
The pigeon
I just
had-
want to double check.
Yeah, he had his own Instagram
Okay.
page for a while. Yeah, the pigeon ended up dying, but he had his own Instagram page and everything for a while. But
That's funny. I've heard of people, camping with their dogs and stuff, but I don't know that I've ever heard of
Yeah, so
anybody
we made that.
taking their pigeon camping with
Yeah,
them.
that's first for me. And we made the hammock, the bug net, the cage for the pigeon, and then we also made a quilt that would go around the cage and snap in place and everything for the colder weather.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I got off the phone with the guy and I told my wife, and she kind of overheard the conversation. And she said, "You going to build that?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "How are you going to do it?" I said, "I don't know yet, but I'm going to figure out something." I got some ideas in my head, but we did it.
But it all worked out, huh?
Yeah. I got some pictures of it. I think I reshared them recently. I think on our Instagram page. But you can see the pigeon sitting there. It's hanging on the ridge line, and the pigeon sitting in there and everything.
I have to go back through your Instagram then and see if I can't find it.
Yeah.
So I've got to see that. That's funny.
So we're not afraid to try anything.
So now a minute ago you said that about you want to do that trip and have all your own gear, and you mentioned backpack and stuff like that. Are you gonna start making backpacks to sell as well, or are you just making one for yourself? Or
that would right now for myself.
Okay.
So I'm a truck driver. I'm gone Monday through Friday. So
Okay.
and then I come home and I spend all weekend making gear and everything. So there's no way I could make at least a lot of backpacks. There's no way I'm going to take it forever.
Right.
And right now, just like I don't make down quilts, there's so many good vendors out there making them. I can't. There's nothing I could add to that. There's works of art out there you could buy from different vendors.
Right.
And backpacks. I'm actually going to buy a backpack from Southwest Designs, that couple up in Michigan.
Okay.
Man, that I'm definitely going to buy one from them. But yeah, backpack it'll be just for myself for now.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I think I might have messed up. I said Southwest Designs. I think it's Superior Wilderness Designs. They're up in Michigan for that backpack.
Okay.
But, no, we're just out there learning, and we're not Progressive Insurance. If you call us, I'm not going to give you the price of every single carrier out. I mean, every single vendor out there, but I have no problem at all. If you're wanting something in particular and you ask us about making it, if there's another company out there that's making pretty much the exact same thing and they can do it for you cheaper, I have no hesitation of pointing you, at least letting you know, and then you can make the choice, but
Right.
so I mean, and we've had random people call us up and talk to us and just asking about advice and asking different things, and I know for sure they bought from other companies because that I pointed them to. I'm not out here trying to become a millionaire or anything. I'm just trying to make sure people get the gear that they want, and if somebody else can make it
Gotcha.
better, then cool.
All right. All right. Well, I will put all the links to your website and Instagram and all that stuff in the show notes. That way, people can check you out and see what all you make and watch the videos and
YouTube's
and all that of your custom stuff. So
YouTube's a really good place to see the gear, some of the gear that we've made in the past.
All right, Dan. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and being a guest and chatting with me for a little while. And if you ever want to come back on, just give me a holler, and we'll definitely have you back on.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we'll see you guys down there in Hancock one of these days.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd really love to have you down here with us,
cool.
And set up and everything. So. All right. Well, we will talk with you later, Dan.
All right.
And like I said, I appreciate you coming on.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan, for coming on to be a guest of the show and telling us about your background and how you got into hammock camping, which led into the creation of MCN Hammocks. It's always great to hear from the cottage vendors to know how they got into the business of making the gear, their company goals, and of course, about the products themselves. You can check out MCN Hammocks at mcnhammocks.com. You can also reach out to Dan with any questions that you may have, and he can help you out and get you in a custom hammock that's right for you. All of the links will be in the show notes. Don't forget to check out all of the other podcast shows that are in the Hiking Radio Network as well. There is Mighty Blue on the Appalachian Trail, the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, the Trail Dames Podcast, and Hiking Unfiltered. And if you like what we're doing with the shows and you would like to support us, please consider leaving a one-off or monthly donation. The donate button can be found on each of the show's pages. All donations are greatly appreciated and help to keep the shows going. As always, until next week, happy hanging, everyone.